by Grapda's Hammer. Let's start the show.
Noice.
What is up, everyone? I am Nick Jamison. This is my partner, Chris Ryans. We are two former video store co-workers from back in the day, and we're here to talk about the movies we love watching at work when we should have been working. This is the Noice Guys podcast. How you doing, Chris?
That's right, man. Hey, and in this episode, if you haven't guessed it by now, we're going to be talking about the sci-fi comedy classic that is Galaxy Quest. But before we do that, Mick, can you explain where the Noice comes from in our name?
Yes, the Noice. You could say it a couple of different ways. That was from our days working all those many years ago back at Suncoast where we met.
Yeah.
And that came from our dear beloved, I don't want to say late because I don't know where he is. I haven't seen the guy in like 20 years, but our manager that we worked under, Ron.
Yeah.
When he used to stand behind the counter, and he would, if we were watching a movie that we liked or something happened during the day that he liked or something funny happened, he would just bust out of nowhere. He would go, "Nice." And then it started just to spread around the store where all of us would just be walking by, putting up videos or walking into the back, and you would just pop your head over like one of the rows of videos and just be like, "Nice." So when you and I started talking about doing the show and we were throwing around titles and stuff like that, we were like,
it just
how do we honor our time working at Suncoast and honor how we met and like how we bonded? So that was like the obvious choice. So here we are. That is the origin of the Noice Guys.
And we don't finish last.
You could you could say it in so many different ways. You could so many different inflections. There's no wrong way to say nice.
Nice.
We loved that so much when we were discussing doing the show. I still had a sound file from literally 23 years ago on my I still have a Hotmail account on my Hotmail account of Ron, our manager, saying nice. So that is in the beginning of the show. That is his voice that you hear at the very beginning of the show saying nice. So somewhere out there, he must get a little spidey sense tingle every time the show opens. Like, wait a minute, what was that?
Man. So what did we talk? We were talking about Galaxy Quest, guys. Listen, for Mick and I, this was like, so we're starting off our show with two of our heaviest hitters, movies we bonded over like big time. And those two movies, of course, the first one being Jesus Christ Superstar, and then there's Galaxy Quest. Now, Mick, I never saw it in the theater. I didn't see it until we started, so I started working at the shop, like whenever it dropped on video, because I think it came out when 99.
It came out in 99, and
theaters.
Like what you're saying, talk about like whiplash to go from the first episode, going from Jesus Christ Superstar to Galaxy Quest. You just got the one extreme to the other. But it came out in 99. I did not see it either. I mean, this is like the epitome of cult classic. This is something we discovered. This is what we did when we weren't like bringing in movies that we liked, like Jesus Christ Superstar. You would get the new movies that came out every week, and you would feature one or two or three, put them on in the shop while we were doing our work. And I mean, if it was a movie you didn't like, you had to sit through that movie at least like twice a day sometimes. So at least like with this was one of the movies we discovered, and we just, I know I'm talking for you. We fell in love with it, and everybody. I think this was something that like everybody in
no one had a choice.
No,
because we would play it, rewind, play it again. Like I think we did do back to backs on Galaxy Quest a lot. It was that good.
We definitely did.
Yeah. The only people that get sick of it are like customers who hung out in the store like way too long. You guys playing this again? What are you still doing here?
Why are you here?
There's so many other stores. Get out.
Buy something.
Get out.
Or buy a replay card, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it came out in 99. I mean, it did okay when it came out,
Yeah.
but I think this, and it not just with us, it's become like a cult classic. And when you talk to people who get it, people who are into this movie, if you bring it up, and
Ooh.
that's one of those benchmarks where if I meet somebody new who I think is relatively geeky, and I kind of bring up like, you know, drop a Galaxy Quest line, and they kind of give me that look and smile, I'm like, I know I'm gonna like this person
Yeah.
because they know what I'm talking about right here. If I drop
Absolutely.
a Grapthar by Grapthar's Hammer, if I drop a line by Guy Fleegman, you know, I don't want to. We have so much to talk about. I don't want to give it. I don't want to start going into it all now. But yeah, like
Yeah.
that's how you know you're gonna like that person because
Yeah.
it's just such a funny movie, and it's like you're in like this little club that
Hmm.
is a very exclusive club, but it's a very cool club to be into to like this movie.
It's an exclusive, enormous
Yeah,
club. Like the fan base is ridiculous, and I'm surprised there are no like not so much Galaxy Quest cons, but like more Galaxy Quest get-togethers at cons. Like
yeah,
it's
and
just this movie. It's one of those flicks that is really stood the test of time, and because I mean, like if you love Star Trek,
I was gonna ask you that.
yeah,
So I mean, we all know about your love for Star Wars.
yeah,
You know about my love for Star Wars.
yeah.
But where are you with Star Trek? How
I'm
big I mean,
I
are you
love Star
into it?
Trek. Yes,
Now, see, with
absolutely.
me, I grew up, I was never into, I knew Star Trek,
Hmm.
and I think I saw like the first two movies. I remember my dad bringing me to Wrath of Khan, and then my brother was really into Next Generation. So I kind of got a little bit, but I never was into it. I didn't dislike Star Trek. I just wasn't into it. But it shows you one, like the power of Star Trek, because you can
Yeah.
watch this movie and you get what they're going for with the archetypes and everything like that. So you
Hmm.
get, and it's not, they're not making fun of it.
No,
You know,
not at all.
it's not making fun of it. It's but even as a so I was interested in that too because I didn't know where you stood with Star Trek because I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I still,
Mm,
you know, I can still enjoy it and get what they're going for and get
yeah.
the humor that they're. Again, it's not like they're not like it's not like as much of a parody because it's. I mean,
No, not at
this
all.
thing with this movie too, it's a good movie, and it
Yeah.
also for coming out in the late '90s, watching it again, it's not like if you watched it, I don't think you look at it and say like, "Oh yeah, it's a '90s movie." It's when I say timeless, it's not like timeless like some like big classic movie that people say, "Oh, it's a," but like it doesn't it's not stuck in like that '90s aesthetic. So I think
Right.
that kind of helps it too. It doesn't look like
Absolutely.
except with having Tim Allen in it when he was actually like a bankable movie star. Other than that,
But
too
yeah.
far, too
No,
far.
not at all. Not for that guy. Not nowadays.
No, 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 no.
Um, yeah, like I equate this movie to almost in a way. When I used to work in another video store, because yeah, back in King of Prussia, way but like we're talking like 94 when I was working at a video store, a video rental store. That was back in the day, kids, when you couldn't just get movies on your phone or on your computer or something like that. You had to get in your car or walk to a video store hoping that the video wasn't already rented out or that they had enough copies.
That was back in the day, kids, before you couldn't just stream porn.
Yeah.
You had to go and there was beaded curtains that you had to walk behind and you did like
Yeah.
kind of a walk of shame that everybody had to watch you go back there and then you had to come out of there and walk up to the counter and then
Yeah.
rent
And then
Debbie does
sometimes,
Dallas 5
yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
I mean, hey, the saga continues
That's
with
right.
Debbie. But
I
yeah, and
always liked that.
sometimes
I'd like part 4 myself.
it's nuanced greatness, that one. And sometimes those video stores, the porn section would be right next to the family section. Like, what are you doing to me?
Well,
Not
I
that I
mean
did
that
that stuff. I didn't.
or
What are they? The people who rented. Like, what are you doing to them? Because it wasn't me. I don't.
Dad needed a place to go while the kids were looking at while the kids were looking at stuff, you
Yeah, yeah.
know?
These are my movies. You go over there. Have fun
You
with
go over there. That's right.
Timmy the fire truck or whatever. I don't know. Get out of my face. Uh, but when I was working at this video store, the one thing that I equated it to was I didn't see Billy Madison in the theater, and then when that flick came out, like I'm sorry, when that movie came to home video, and I saw it, and that blew my mind. That was one that I played like at that shop over and over and over and over again. That was another one of those cult classics, I think.
And I
That
think
ne-
that
that
calls
equated.
I think that calls back to kind of what we grew up in. And I think that's not, we sound like old people. That's not around as
Mick.
much. We are. I know we are. We are. We are. I'm going to take my dentures out after this podcast. But that it equates to something that I don't think you see as much, where you like you just said, you discover a lot of stuff
Yeah.
going into those video stores, just looking around. You look at the
Mm-hmm.
covers and you're like, whoa, this looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
Or I heard about this. But back then too, again, you couldn't just click on a button and see whatever you wanted. There were movies that came out and they wouldn't come to your local movie theater. So you might have read about them in a magazine somewhere, and you're like, oh, and you go to the video store and you're like, all right, cool, I can like rent this. I
Yeah.
mean, that was a part of it, like discovering those movies that back then it seemed like they were. It was like they were mythical because you didn't see anything about them. There was no internet to go on to read about them. You didn't know about every little piece of minutiae as they were being made, like we know now.
Right.
So yeah, and that's how movies like this are discovered, and that's why they become like so beloved, is because like I said in the beginning, I mean, you find them and you feel like you're in like this exclusive group, and then you go out and you find out there's like hundreds and thousands and millions of other people in that exclusive group, but still it's like you feel like you found something special, and
Yeah.
that was a
It's
cool
kind
feeling back
it's
then.
kind of like when I found out, like when I found the online Star Wars community, and then I regretted it like 12 minutes later.
It took you 12 minutes?
A whole 12 minutes. It was a good 12 minutes because there's a whole lot that I like, and then there's
Ooh, let's not go down
the discourse. Yeah.
that.
Oof. So where do we begin with this one? How about the beginning?
Yeah, we'll begin at the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I went down the rabbit hole is when we decided this was going to be our second movie. So I started looking into, which means, going on Wikipedia
Mhm.
and reading about the making of it and stuff like that. They wanted Alec Baldwin originally
Yo,
for the
there were
main,
so many people.
or Kevin Kline and Steve Martin.
Yeah. Kevin Kline, Steve Martin, Robin Williams
Yeah.
was another one. But I think if not Tim Allen, because when you look back on it now, like well, who else could have played Kirk
Mm.
back then? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
who else could have played Picard? But or walking as Han Solo would have probably been amazing. But
I mean, great.
um,
I'm not a big Tim Allen fan. I've never
mm,
watched Home Improvement.
mm,
I've never seen any of the Santa Claus movies,
and less so
but
now,
huh?
and less so nowadays.
Yeah, well, for other reasons.
Yeah,
But he was perfect. He was at that time, like where he was in his stardom,
yeah,
and he just, I can't think, and again, it's because the movie's now 23 years old, but like I can't see anybody else doing that part.
right.
I can't see anybody else doing it. He doesn't play it. He's not going crazy. That was another reading about it when he said he became friends after this with Shatner,
Hmm.
who said like, "Oh yeah, you got it. You really did me." And he was like, "I wasn't trying to do you. I was trying to do Yul Brenner in the Ten Commandments." He's like, "That's how I
Yeah,
saw it."
right.
I like he played it perfectly because you can go into, and I love Mel Brooks. I'm not cutting on Mel
Yeah.
Brooks. It can take it into being that type of movie, and it's
Hmm.
not that type of movie. You're not doing a broad satire. You're making a comedy out of it, but they have to believe it and play it straight. And he did it perfectly where he's playing it that he thinks he's a good actor. He's not winking at the camera. He's being perfect for this type of comedy you don't see anymore either.
Yeah,
That I mean, we didn't know then, but this was like a dying breed of type of comedy
yeah,
that they were making then. You just don't see these type of like the high concept comedy. You just don't see it anymore.
yeah,
And
and
I mean, it's got an awesome. We're starting with Tim Allen. It's got a great cast. It's got a really
yeah,
great cast of up
yeah,
and comers who now we know, and established people. I mean, it's a
yeah.
great cast.
Like of course, the one that stands out for like at least for you and I, the one that stands out is without a doubt Sam Rockwell. I mean,
Yep.
look at him; he's front and center right now on our
Yeah.
overlay. Um, if there's anything that you and I quote the most from this movie, it's him or it's someone talking to him.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Or his reactions.
oh,
It had to be like the first time you ever I think this is the first movie I saw him in. I think. In
I think for me as
'99. I
well.
mean, yeah.
Yes, yeah, this
But
is
yeah, I
absolutely the
mean,
first thing. It's
this
like,
was
where did
like
this
stuff,
dude come from?
and
Yeah,
he steals the movie.
he steals it.
I mean, it's Grand Theft Auto. He
Yeah,
steals this movie.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And like you said, we would walk around just quoting lines. His name is like the perfect, again, like the red shirt. He's the red
Oh,
shirt,
absolutely.
and he
Absolutely.
knows he's the red shirt. And it's a really good script. It's a great script. Like he
Yeah.
knows he's the red shirt. But now you're more of a convention guy and stuff like that than I've been. The one comic convention like 30 years ago when I was young. That's it. But you like, even with the way he is, where he was a guy who was in like the show once, and he's still like
Right.
making money off of it and signing autographs and stuff. It just like the way that's conveyed and the way he plays it, and just like we were watching documentaries and stuff. He really likes the movie. It's funny because he's become like such a big actor, but he talks like, he said that like, I think all the actors were saying like when they read the script, like they knew how good of a script it was, and everybody was going on and on about Rockwell, just like how he stole it just right out from under him. But just his like, it's a shame that he doesn't do more. Like he's done
comedies,
other comedy roles, but nothing like this.
Like this.
Because I mean, they said that he was one of the finalists, I think, for Iron Man originally. And
really,
I mean, it's hard now with all
no, it's not hard at all. I'm sorry,
I can kind of say it.
I love it.
Yeah, I could say it.
Oh,
I can definitely say
know
it.
that.
I mean, that's why they got him for Justin Hammer as like the flip side of Tony Stark. But I can say I can see him as Iron Man.
Oh, that's amazing. That would have been dope.
I could also see him as the Blue Beetle, DC, Warner Brothers, if you want to do like a Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, Blue and Gold movie.
Oh my God, no, he'd be Booster Gold.
He could be Booster Gold too. Nah, we're going.
Yeah, all right.
We'll save that for the casting of the DC.
That's
I have to
right.
say that we did.
It's coming. It's coming.
But yeah,
but like he was
guidelines.
He was so like from the, like when you first see him, like, yeah, I mean he's cool and it's funny and all that kind of stuff, but not until they get to space does he shine. Because when he first teleports on the ship and he's just hold on. Let me. I've got. Where's that one shot? I've got that. It's.
I can't do justice.
I've got nothing but screen caps.
Okay.
Of from the movie. I was trying to find the one. Where is it at? Here it is.
Oh my God.
He was so like so disheveled, distraught throughout this whole thing.
And he's got that the cheesy like mustache. He's got that like weaselly, like greasy look about him. But like he's endearing. Like by the end you love him. Like you loved him.
Yeah.
Like you did. I mean, if there was any justice, like you said, this would have been like a big hit. And he became a star anyway, but like people would have been like dressing up as Guy for like Halloween that year.
He was the caution of this show of this movie because he watched the show. He was a fan of the show.
Did you guys ever watch the show?
You ever watched the show? Like he like anything coming. They're just like actors, and they don't. I mean, they never really watch the show. They're not into the science fiction stuff. So he. Like whenever something happened, he knew what was, he knew the worst thing that could happen.
I'm just laughing thinking about the lines. Is there air? You don't know.
That's those. He's like, I changed my mind. I want to go back.
What's he say when he's talking to when Tim Allen's fighting the rock monster and he's like, try to form a rudimentary. And we used to like, and this is what I mean. We used to be sitting like behind the counter, just like doing stuff, and all of a sudden, I think we would just turn to one another or just out of nowhere and be like, just try to build a rudimentary lathe.
Get off the line, Guy.
And there's so many other. Yeah, I was gonna say there's so many other. We're going on and on. I mean, we'll get back to him, but Sam Rockwell. Daryl Chill Mitchell, who is really good.
Yeah.
Who is really good in this movie as like a straight man guy, but real like so good. And that's another like character, like the kid character who then is still going to the conventions and stuff like that, living off like his 5 minutes of fame. But he was that whole scene when he's trying to pull the
I love that like the ship starts to like he's trying to pull it out of dock and the ship is starting to like turn and like everyone's like
And what's he say? Doesn't he say something to Guy? What's he like? What you get? What you
You wanna drive this thing?
Would you relax?
Would you relax? It's amazing. It's amazing.
Then you got Sigourney Weaver,
Mm-hmm.
who was a masterstroke of casting her, because they were saying, yeah, I mean, she plays like that typical for like the 60s and 70s sci-fi woman who basically was just there as eye
Window dressing.
candy.
Yeah.
And her as Ripley kind of like broke that mold when she
Right.
originally played Ripley. And she's great. Like, again, like other than Ghostbusters, you don't really see her in that many comedy roles. So she was really good. Like all the cast
Except
has
for Ghostbusters. Yeah.
that's what I said, Ghostbusters. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Working Girl, so I can't say Working Girl.
I don't
I know
remember
she
if
was
I've
in
seen
that.
that. Yeah.
But they just all have some like really good chemistry together. And of
Yeah.
course,
From top to oh man. The
you got Tony Shalhoub
Tony
as I can't. Oh, it's Fred Kwan, right? Was that his
Yeah,
name? Because
he's like Fred Kwan. He's like, this is not even my real name. Like, I mean, that was a product of like Hollywood when they would, cast different ethnicities, like for a character of a different ethnicity, and they just like cast a white dude.
Yep.
But
Of
but
course.
I don't think he was white. I don't know what. I guess he's. What is he?
Yeah, he was.
Middle Eastern? I don't know.
I don't know.
But
He's played like so many different like ethnicities.
yeah,
He
he's
could
kind of
play a Jewish
ambiguous.
guy. He could play an Italian guy. He could play somebody from the Middle East.
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub. Yeah, but he is like he's awesome in this movie.
Yeah.
As like I think he said like he's playing him like he's. Doesn't Guy say it? Does he say like
Are you
hot?
stoned?
Are you stoned?
Like,
He's just great. Like
the defibrillator is it's down. It's going to take a while to get going on. Just FYI. Yeah,
he's playing basically the anti-Scotty, where
yeah,
he's just like,
absolutely.
yeah, well, I mean, we'll figure it out. I
Yeah.
mean, we'll be okay. And then, of course, you have
Take Sergeant Jim.
Arian, and then we have the dearly departed Alan Rickman,
Mm-hmm.
and another guy who you don't really see in comedies that much. I don't think, but
He was golden.
He was
He was
amazing.
golden.
As Chris, like the opening line, the way you opened the episode. I mean,
his delivery is incredible.
oh, in this whole movie, like he just because he just plays disgust so well.
Yeah.
And he's playing basically probably not, I mean he's the Leonard Nimoy equivalent, but it's probably
totally
like what all of them felt at a certain time, where he's just stuck in that role. That's what he's known as. He's going to there he is.
He wants to think.
But then he also has that scene near the end where one of the aliens gets the alien who
like took a
looks
shine
up
to him.
who he gets killed, and that's like a really dramatic scene, and it's not played for laughs.
Nope.
Like it's played totally straight, and he nails it.
Yeah,
and that's totally the thing, nails it.
That's the thing about this flick is it has all of these, like these different, like it's when the comedy hits, the comedy's amazing. When the drama hits, the drama's amazing. When the action hits, the science fiction part of it, all amazing. The fact that they got what is the creature? What's the guy's name again?
Which one for
Saris?
He is the guy from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, no, but I mean the
you got Stan Winston.
Stan Winston. Yeah.
Stan Winston and ILM did the special.
Yep.
That's the thing. It's not it's again, like I said, it's like a dying breed. It's not a joke a minute movie. It's also not nowadays. I mean, I don't even know how to. I mean, you wouldn't even see. I mean, a movie like this come out in a theater probably today. It would go straight to streaming. Like you wouldn't even see it because they would figure it wouldn't. I mean, it didn't make that much money anyway. But
now it's like it's super calculated. Like no, this if it's not going to make if they don't project it making $1 billion or whatever, they're not going to.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think like what's like a big. I guess like 10 years ago, maybe like Superbad and everything like that. But it's not like a comedy like that. So I mean, you just don't see it. Like you said, it knows when to be funny. Knows when to be serious, and it pulls off that balance. And like you said, you can tell it's made by people who were fans of like Star Trek, fans of sci-fi. You go and get like Stan Winston and ILM, and they're doing it where I mean, even like when they recreate the original show, it's like so in that you could tell like it looks like that like the old Star Trek, and they're like recreating like the way that they would film those scenes and everything like that. But
Hmm.
even like when it's supposed to be like now in outer space, the special effects are good, but they're not like over the top where it's got to look like super, realistic and stuff. They
Yeah.
make it within like the context of the movie and stuff like that. I mean, again, because I mean, we're going into talking about like the cast and everything, but the plot of the movie is that
Yeah.
it's aliens who have watched this old show, Galaxy Quest, and think
Historical
it's the
documents.
historical documents. They think
Yeah.
it's reality, so they have
Right.
built their technology the way that the show had it,
Right.
like all
Brilliant.
needless chompers and all.
Yeah. Yeah. And like and I think I said this to you like probably like a week or so before we recorded this, and we were talking a little bit about Galaxy Quest, and I said this is I may have said this, I forget if I said this to you, but I said this was like a perfect movie. It's like it just it's like it is an amazing stew. Like everything in there is just perfect,
Mhm.
and and it just tastes delicious. Like and when I watched this documentary, the never it was a Never Give Up, Never Surrender
Yes.
2019 documentary. There was something in there. This person named David Mamet, and he's let me see if I can
No, David
pull it up.
Mamet. Yeah, I mean, he's a
Mamet.
Pulitzer Prize winner. He's one of the best writers out there.
Look
I
what he
saw
said here.
this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, four perfect movies, and Galaxy Quest
But
is one of them.
he's being serious, and
Yeah,
honestly, I mean, I don't know if I would put it up there with that, but I understand what you're saying. Like
right.
when people say like, "Oh, it's a perfect movie," you're automatically thinking like, well, how can you say that? It's got to be like so. But it really is. Like if you want to have again, like we love this movie, but I hadn't watched it in so long, and I put it on and I fell right back into it, and I was
Yes.
like, I can watch this again to like watch it and get
Yeah.
ready for this podcast because it's just a funny, fun movie,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wasted in it. There's nothing needless in it. It's and it's like the perfect length. It's the perfect concept, and like I said,
Hmm.
the cast,
The
their
synergy,
the synergy and
the chemistry was just
chemistry is off the charts.
yeah.
And it's that mix of Tim Allen when he was at his height of his fame. You
Hmm.
had Alan Rickman, Sigourney Weaver, people you don't know, like we said, or aren't known for comedy, who are playing it, and it's understated comedy. You had Guy there for like the outlandish kind of comedy,
Yeah.
but you had them, and then you have like Justin Long. It was his first movie playing one
Hmm.
of the fans. I mean, it's crazy to think he was like 17, I think, when
Yeah.
he did
No,
this.
he said he was like 21.
Oh, was he? I thought he was
Yeah,
17.
he
Okay, I'm
just
sorry.
he's ageless.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He still looks like he play like a 21-year-old right now. So,
absolutely. Yeah,
but yeah, it's his first movie, and he's great. Like
yeah,
he's great. They're not making, and again, like it captures the that fandom and conventions and all that kind of stuff, but they're not looking
perfectly.
down and making
No,
fun of these people.
no, not at
They
all.
might be they're tweaking them a little bit, and they're
Not by much.
it's a little heightened,
Not by
but
much. But
nah,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah. It's-
Back in Captain, back in episode 82 when
right. Yo, trust me.
Oh, I know. I
I've
can
been to a
imagine.
con or two. They are
I can
there.
imagine.
Um,
You haven't had somebody like get mad at you like Alan Rickman when the guy starts saying by Grabthar's hammer and he's like Gratz.
next.
That's the other thing. Like this movie is so good. Like anything that we do, like trying to do voices or trying to say the lines, it's not going to be as fun. This
No,
podcast, half of them are going to be me saying like, "Go and watch this if you haven't," because it's not going to
yeah.
be as funny as like go. Like we're thinking about it and laughing because we're actually thinking about.
Listen, there'll be times at Suncoast, Mick and I are working side by side, like at like the front counter or something like that, and I'll be like, and one of us will just say, "I don't." He's like, "I changed my mind. I want to go back." What is it? Yeah. I thought like before I thought I'd be the guy that would gonna live it out. The guy's gonna die when he goes out of the planet.
Like I said, I am going to a wedding this weekend. My
Yeah.
cousin, my younger cousin, used to work with us there. She was still in high school then. I will walk up to her and say, "Is there air? You don't know."
No.
And she will know exactly what I'm talking about because this is the kind of stuff that we would just say to each other, all of us, while we were working.
Yeah. if I could bring up something real quick, I just want
Yeah.
to bring up this thing with with this guy real quick. Um, it is the
That's right.
he's so
Oh, it's
he's
great.
so emotionally broken.
I
Like he's
know.
so broken throughout this whole thing. It is there's a red thingy
Uh,
moving toward the
the
green
green
thingy.
thingy. I think
Red
I
thingy. I think we're the green thingy. Oh,
Oh.
good God. Uh,
Or when Fred starts hooking up with the alien and he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, that's
Oh.
not right.
Mm.
Oh."
Oh, he's like, hey guys, get a room. It's like, oh, that's not right.
Oh, that's not it's Missy Pyle, another one, like, she was in it. I always say the guy's name wrong who plays, like, the main alien, Enrico
Enrico. Oh,
Calatone or something like
something
that. If
like that.
he's
Yeah.
that guy, like, if you see him, he's from, like,
Yeah.
Veronica Mars. He played the dad in Veronica Mars.
Yeah.
And even, the guy from, The Office, Rainn Wilson is one of the aliens.
Rainn
It
Wilson is
was
in there.
yeah.
There were a few people like watching it now. I'm like, oh, because I
Mhm.
haven't watched it in
Yep.
I'll say like 5-10 years probably. I haven't watched Galaxy Quest.
But even that,
And
they were talking about Enrico. I'm saying his name wrong. Calatone. He was saying like they went to like alien school and
yeah,
like put a lot into like the way they
you
would
had to do
like.
the
It's hilarious how they do it, but it's like
yeah.
they put a lot into like this is how we're gonna the aliens are gonna communicate, and this is how we're gonna talk. This is how we're gonna walk. And they like went to like alien boot camp during filming and learned how to
Mhm.
do it. Like there was you could tell that it was made by people who like really
They
were
cared.
into it and they cared about it. It
Yeah,
wasn't, and it is like that was in the documentary. They, Rockwell said, "I thought it was going to be as big as Ghostbusters." I, it's like that. Like you
yeah,
could tell, like with Ghostbusters, like Aykroyd was really into all that stuff. So
right,
like it's not just like some comedy made and it's like, oh, it's going to be people chasing ghosts and we'll
right,
figure out some funny stuff. Like, and the people who did this, they're in the sci-fi. It's like
right.
us who are into this kind of stuff. Like you said, you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, like I know people like that. So
Right.
that's exactly why they're doing this.
Yeah. This was such a love letter to like I'll say Star Trek, but I just mean like science fiction fans in general. But this is such a love letter to science fiction fans, to the science fiction fandom, to convention fandom, to the shows themselves, to the actors, and it doesn't talk down to anyone. It doesn't yeah, like we were saying before, it doesn't demean like anyone that's involved in any of
Yep.
these. It's just it just it
Well,
is it is an absolute love letter, and like it's that movie is such a nerd hug, and I love it.
that's a great. Yeah, it's good. I think the biggest compliment is like, what was it? Patrick Stewart. I think it was Brent Spinner was saying that Patrick Stewart said to him like they did it, like
Yeah,
that like it's perfect. Like I
yeah.
think it was voted. Didn't Star Trek fans vote it like the seventh best or fifth or sixth best Star Trek
Will Wheaton
movie?
was like, it's the best Star Trek movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, they were
Well,
trying to. They wanted to make it. They wanted to make a. I mean, in this day and age where everything now is continued, it's IP. But they wanted to before Alan Rickman passed away. They were talking about trying to make a series out of it.
mhm.
They wanted to make a series out of it. Now I don't know. I mean, I don't think Sam Rockwell would have came back, obviously, but
Well, no,
you
I think he
probably
did. I
was he
think,
going to do it?
yeah, yeah. I think they said
Yeah. Okay.
they may have shot a couple of like scenes or something like that. Before, of course, Alan Rickman that unfortunately
Because I
passed.
think they wanted to try to do something animated with it too, which they kind of could have.
They could. There's
I mean, you
comics.
think now with all the content and like all these like streaming networks looking for something to fill up that you could get some Galaxy Quest. You could do like I mean, what's Tim Allen ain't doing anything. I guess he's doing the Santa Claus show
Mhm.
on.
Let's.
I know.
But I mean, hey, that shouldn't stop him from working. So I would
No,
say,
well,
yeah, yeah,
it
do it.
could.
Bring him in. Like would it be like a next generation thing? Maybe their of course older characters. Now,
Mhm.
how would it be? Would it be him? Would it be him as Quincy
See,
Taggart,
that would
or would
you
it
bringing
be
that up, that would be good. It should be like that
in universe?
they wanna have, like, a Galaxy Quest and Next Generation kinda thing, and it could
Hmm.
be, like, the original cast kinda chafing at, like, having like people take over for him, and you go from there. So you have like a Picard kind of character that's kind of like
Right.
an annoying like Tim Allen and kind of stuff like that. I think that would
But
be
would
kind
you
of
would
cool.
you keep it in universe? Like, that is Quincy Taggart, that is Sergeant Chen,
I don't know.
that sort of thing?
I think I would do it as I think I would do it the same way as the movie,
Okay.
where it's like you're seeing the behind the scenes, and somehow like aliens get wrapped up
It happens
in it
again.
again.
Yeah. Get the
Eh,
Thermians in there again.
I'll have to workshop it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get this thing down. We're gonna pitch this thing to
Yeah, that's right.
Amazon's.
DreamWorks.
Yeah, they need something. Yeah. Amazon TV needs something. Rings of Power just ended. So they need something. But I think, yeah, if we
I
go
like
back
what
to
you said, by the way. It's perfect. It's a nerd hug. It is a
yes.
big nerd hug for for this whole audience. It is because, like I said, you see it, and I hadn't watched it in years, and I was just like, and it just makes you smile because
Yeah.
again, it could have come off as mean, it could have come off as snarky, and it didn't. And it's
Hmm.
embracing the love for I know it's Star Trek, but I mean,
Right.
as me, more of a Star Wars fan, it's just it's looking at it, and it's like family, where you might make
Yeah.
fun of your family, but you still love your family, and
Right.
that's what it's doing there. Where it's like, yeah, we know you're weird, and we know you have these weird tendencies, but you know what? We love you anyway, and come here.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I mean, it really is, and you just don't see that now. You don't see it at all. It hasn't been. I mean, they haven't really tried to do anything like it, but it's really, it's really good. I mean, I think Justin Long was telling the story that he thought he was playing it too over the top, and the director said
Oh,
to him, "Here, go watch this movie." And it was the documentary Trekkies, which I have watched. And
yeah.
then he came back the next day, and he was like,
I didn't go
I'm
far
not
enough.
doing it enough. I haven't gone far enough." Which is true, as you can attest to.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Oh, dude. I have to do it again. I'm gonna keep doing this
yeah.
throughout the whole thing. Oh,
Oh man, we could have done
the
a
whole
whole
thing.
podcast just about Guy. Like I feel bad because we're talking about all this other stuff. We didn't really.
It's
I
how
mean,
I
just
guess.
it is a masterclass for Sam Rockwell, and just he is so funny in this
Yeah,
movie. He is. Well, I will say right now, one of probably like the top 5 funniest performances, and like
absolutely.
he. If you go on YouTube, I think they have like just all of his parts. Oh, just hilarious. I was sitting at work and just going nuts, just watching them, just like cracking. And he is hilarious in this
Hilarious.
movie.
Like
Oh my god.
I just, it's like I changed my mind. I want to go back.
That's the fuss you made about getting left behind.
That's when I thought I was a crewman that stays on a ship, and now something so it kills me. But now I'm thinking I'm the guy who gets killed by some monster
Ah,
5 minutes after we land
we
on
land on the
the
planet. And she said,
planet.
What's my last name?" I was like,
And
I don't know.
he's like trying to he's trying to hold it together so bad that he can't. Dude's having an existential crisis right now, and it's so funny. He's like, "You're not gonna die on the planet, guy." He's like, "I'm not. What's my last name?" He's like,
It's I don't know.
nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Do you know why? Like accurate to the point of her last name. Oh, God, here we go.
It's the best.
Here we go.
And it's but
Guy.
like all this stuff, like we would be watching like this is like I would love to go back in time and just be a customer in the store
Oh, they're just
watching
watching
us
us two
because we'd be
goofballs.
standing there watching on the TVs doing the lines
Yeah.
as like somebody's probably like, yeah, can you find like the best of Elmo in the children's section? And we're like, Guy, you have a last name.
Do I? Do
Do I?
I? Do I? For all you know, I just threw it number 6. Mommy.
Mommy, mommy.
Oh, classic. Oh, I swear, like when I finally watched this again, a few days ago, earlier this week. Um, Ever since watching it, it's been like occupying
Oh
all of
yeah.
my thoughts
Oh
because
yeah.
I just keep thinking about all these lines, and I'm like, I gotta watch this again, or I gotta watch this scene
Yeah.
again. Now I'm like hooked all over again.
Oh yeah. Dude, I have a friend who he watched the first episode. Shout out Andrew Gross. And he's like, "What's your next movie going to be?" And I'm like, "Galaxy Quest." He's like, "Oh man." He's like, "I haven't watched that in so long." And you saw in his eyes, he's like, "Oh."
Yeah.
He's like, and that's all we do now. He walks into work and I'm like, "You don't know."
Is there air?
Is there air?
What an alien planet? Is there air? You don't know.
If I ever met Sam Rockwell, I would walk up to him, and that's what I would just walk up to him and be like, "Is there air?
You
You
don't.
don't
You don't know.
know." And what's his name at the end when
Uh,
they
hold on. Guy Fleegman?
but that doesn't
Oh
he?
no,
Oh,
no,
what's
no.
his
Oh,
character's name?
oh, let me see. Oh,
Isn't it
hold
like
on.
Rock or something? Rock
Like
something?
rock something.
I can't
Hold on.
remember.
Hold on. Where is it? Because I mean, hold on. Is that it? There we go. There we go.
Because that's the picture from the overlay. Yeah. That's
Security Chief Rock Ingersoll.
Oh man, that's so good.
Wow. That was like that I hollered. I hollered at that part. Like, you see me like the best image of the movie.
You know what the funny thing is though? Like now I watched this. I was watching it like one Friday night. So my kids came down. Now my daughter's like 8. So she's just like, I'm just gonna sit down here and watch it. She didn't get it. My son, who's 11, so he like gets this stuff though, but he's like watching it. And I explained what the concept of it was. But he was like, it's all right. So I don't know, like
You
I
ground him?
wonder now like how it would break
You-
down, like if somebody
You ground him?
Nah, I smacked him and sent him up to his room.
Get out of here.
Come down until you can appreciate 90s
Yeah.
comedy.
Now go watch Transformers movie, not the Michael Bay ones. Go.
Well, we have not done that yet. I think when we do that episode, I'm gonna have him on.
Okay.
I'll make him watch it and then see what he
Yeah.
thinks. He actually had a
Why
question on
isn't
a
Bumblebee talking? Like, this is not that one.
he had a question on a some kind of English study thing this week, and it was like robots from outer space transform into vehicles, and he's like, "Oh, like the Transformers." I'm like, "How do you know?" Because I haven't really introduced him to Transformers. I'm like, "How do you know
Well,
about
I
that?"
mean,
So it's kind of weird. I know.
Thanks to Michael Bay and his abominations. It's not
Yeah,
that- if he would have said GoBots, now
Hey
that
man,
would have
dude,
been amazing.
challenge of the GoBots. That was like the chief. That's what I got for like, I had the one aunt who was like, "I got you a Transformer." I'm like, it's not.
That's Leader One.
It's Leader One. That's the only one I know. It's the only guy I know. It's Leader One. Great, thanks.
Thanks. Like you said in,
I was like, this isn't a Transformer. You don't know.
You don't know. Throw it out the window. Yeah, this was like, what, I think we said in Clerks too. Like, yeah, GoBots. The Kmart of Transformers.
The Kitty City of Transformers, not the Toys R Us. I only went to the Kitty City.
I only went to Kitty City, sir. That was mine.
I actually like Kitty City. Kitty City was awesome.
That was my home.
Dude, the wall of Star Wars action figures you would walk into. You just fall down and kneel in front of it.
Yes.
Not like when you went to KB and all they had was like like why can't I think of the what's the R2 unit from New Hope, the red one that pops the
R5D4?
Thank you.
Yeah. Like I already have him. Thanks,
I
KB.
have
You
him.
guys suck. I said that in that voice at 8 years old.
Kids will never know now, like the joy though of walking into the mall and seeing like the KB there, and you're like, I'm gonna go and look and see what they have.
And
Let me see if they have the super.
Disappointed.
Let me see if they have the superpowers action figures.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love those superpowers action figures. How do we get onto this from Galaxy Quest? All right, back to Galaxy Quest.
It just happens, man. We're
I
old.
know.
We just have to just trail off. It's cool.
People like this is behind the scenes. This is like how we would talk normally, just if we were talking to each other. Yeah.
This isn't a structured podcast.
No, God, no. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Give us like 50 or 75 more. We'll
get our act together. Promise.
All right, so Galaxy Quest.
I was so thrown back, or like just like thrown back by when I first watching it, how good the makeup effects were and everything
Yeah.
for, like, the Therbians was one thing, but then their true form,
Mhm.
but Saris,
Yeah.
and like, in his goons, that was like, I was so blown away by how good they looked, because I wasn't expecting this that level of work to be done, like,
Mhm.
just like incredible work for this sci-fi comedy that, for all I knew, went straight to video. I didn't realize it was in the
Yeah.
theaters, you know what I mean? So I was very surprised by that, and
I
the
mean,
effects
again,
and everything were like top notch.
you hire Stan
Sam
Winston,
Winston.
you know what you're gonna get. And
Yeah.
I feel bad. I think it's Robin Sachs is the name of the actor, actually, who I
Mm,
know him as, Giles' friend on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He
mm,
played Saris, and he was talking about it, and he said, like, he knew he was gonna be in a prosthetic and, like, a mask and, like, a rig, but he didn't realize how heavy it was gonna be because of all, like, the gears and everything.
yeah.
And now, like, with again, and listen, I love CGI because, like, you get to see things you never thought you get to see. You get to
Right.
see characters you never thought you'd get to see. But, like, back then, that's a great special effect,
Yes.
Saris, and you don't
Yeah.
look at it and say like, "Oh, well, I see, like, the seams, and I
No.
can see where" now, like, you buy it, and again, it's not meant to be this hyper realistic alien, it's meant to be they're turning it around where it's
Right.
like it's almost an alien that you would see in, like, a Star Trek '60s type of show, but just a little bit better and a little bit,
Yeah.
looking a little bit more real, but not too real.
Yeah.
But he's like, again, it's like a good villain. Like, he's not played as like a stupid, like, funny villain. He's played as
No.
like a vicious, and again, like I said, like, again, like, people die in this movie,
Yes.
and it get like again. I mean, it's not like we're not getting into like Oscar territory, but I
Right.
mean, there's real stakes and there's
Hmm.
real like emotion in it, and
Oh,
it's done really well.
yeah.
Like, when you go hire, they hired the casting director gets a pat on the back because they
Yeah.
like
Oh,
cast the right,
she killed it. Yeah.
and these actors had a job and they knew the job and they did
Hmm.
it. Like, when you go get Alan Rickman, you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And he brought it, man. He
Yeah.
brought it.
And
I will dare say, and this is probably blasphemy, favorite Alan Rickman role. I love Die Hard, but I love him in this movie. I
no,
love
it's
him
it
in this
absolutely
movie.
my favorite role of
Yeah.
his. I'm not the biggest Potter person. Like, I dig
Not
those
neither am
movies,
I. Yeah, I'm
and
not, yeah.
I can't read the book. I can read.
I've never
I
read
just
them.
can't read those books. Like, yeah, I can't do this.
Yeah, I've never read them.
It's too much. It's too many words. Too many words. Um, but when I was watching a documentary, the Never Give Up, Never Surrender, the casting director, and I'm kicking myself because I can't remember her name right now, but
Yeah.
she, like, was like a machine gun on Sam Rockwell
Mhm.
to play this role. Like, she was like, no, it's you like, you got to play this role. And like, he was like, he refused to, like, so many times, and then finally came around to it because that movie was going to come out the same time that his role in the Green Mile was about
Ah,
to drop. So he's like, he wanted people to see like these two different dynamics of
now
what he could do.
that's crazy because you know what? I have never seen The Green Mile, which is
I've watched
weird.
it. I just don't remember him in it.
So I was gonna say he's in it?
Yeah,
Because 'cause I'm trying to think, like, watching this, like you said, like, this is what the first thing I remember seeing him in.
yeah.
Um,
And
and
I didn't
again,
watch
like,
Green Mile until probably when I was working at the shop
this
at
wasn't a big
Funkos.
hit, so, I mean, did this break him, or because after this, like, did you ever see Confessions of a Dangerous Mind? Like, he was in that. It's a
No, I
good
don't think I
movie,
saw that.
actually.
Hmm.
He plays the, host of The Gong Show,
Huh.
who the host of The Gong Show said that he was a secret agent. He wrote a autobiography that said he was, like, a secret agent, and most people say he was probably lying. So George Clooney directed it. It's actually a good movie, go see it.
Hmm.
But, like, I'm trying to think go see it, go seek it out. Um But, yeah, I can't think of, like, other than this, I would feel like this would be his, like, breakout role because I can't think of it.
Hmm.
I didn't know he was in The Green Mile, and I don't think people say, like, Sam Rockwell, like, Green Mile, that was, like, his big thing, so, yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
But, like, yeah, I mean, and I feel bad because 'cause I'm forgetting the director's name. They wanted Ivan Reitman at first. They were thinking about Ivan Reitman to direct this. I think they talked to Howard
How
Ramis
Ramis
also,
how
which
Ramis
I can
was like
see.
on it. He was on it,
Yeah, I mean,
and
it was the
then he chopped
'90s.
off.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
'90s. I mean, he was, like, one of the big comedy directors.
Yeah.
But now I can't remember the name of the director because again, like Sam Rockwell was saying, like he really gave him leeway to like to go far with the
Yeah.
character and
And I
to
think they did that with
ad lib and everything.
I think they did that with a lot of the characters, like as far as or a lot of the actors, I should say. You know, it seemed like on set, like there was an air of creative freedom to a degree,
Mm-hmm.
creative freedom with these characters. Really, just like give more of yourself into the role, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So, because I remember Justin Long had said that like he took a little bit from Chris Farley, he took a little bit from the comic book guy from the Simpsons, and someone else who I'm forgetting that he said he took a little bit from.
Will
But
Wheaton. I don't know.
it was someone else, and I can't think of the person right now. But yeah, I just love that they're able to really get creative with it and whatnot.
Yeah, we keep going back to it, but I mean, it's just like and that's why I think Mamet says it. It's like when you have a really good script, you get a director that's going to give the cast leeway, and it's going to kind of watching the documentaries. They look like they all had fun making the movie, and you just have the cast that is actually into it, and it seems like it was a pretty like drama-free kind of like production.
Yeah.
And like Tim Allen was saying, like he got it. He was like a Star Trek guy, and he was like a sci-fi guy, so he kind of knew like where they were coming from.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird that it wasn't like a bigger hit. I would love that. I didn't go down the rabbit hole to see like what was out at the same time. It's weird because I remember when it came out.
Matrix.
I remember. Was it? Yeah, I guess.
Probably Matrix was out of.
Did it come out? Yeah, because it probably came out in the spring of '99, like before
Probably.
Phantom Menace. So it probably came out around, and the Matrix was like such a big hit that nobody saw, that they probably expected this to be bigger than it was, and then Matrix just like blew everybody away until Phantom Menace came out. But yeah, it's like I said, like back then you would think it would make a little bit of money, but like now I don't even think you would see it. It would go straight to streaming.
Yeah,
it wouldn't even.
'99 was a tough year, man, for movies because you had so much to contend with. Yeah, you had episode 1, you had Matrix.
Wait, episode 1 came out in '99? No way.
Hackers?
No,
really?
No,
that wasn't. No.
Hackers.
I can't think. Oh, no, it's also.
Dude, I remember that being at the shop. I remember that like coming out. I don't even know if I watched it.
You want to talk about how like I had an image of what logging onto the internet would be, and I was like, where are all the colors?
Oh, do you know where I got my? Do you know where I got my information about computers and stuff? From like movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I thought I'd be able to like hack into like
war games.
Yeah, war games. I thought I'd be able to like hack into my school's like computer and like back then all you had like in the '80s all you had to do was like you do like
/command.
Yeah, /command shift, and like you were somehow like in like your principal's like files of yeah. Or like The Net with Sandra Bullock, where it was like ooh.
Amazing.
Now the stuff you could do that you did on there is like on my phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, 99 was a tough year for. God, that was like you talk about the Matrix. That was like the first big DVD that we had in the store.
Yeah,
I remember chasing people who were trying to shoplift it out of Suncoast,
trying to get away from you. But yeah, we plugged this movie like crazy at the shop because we played it like mad. People like, what? We're just laughing like idiots. And I think we sold a good bit just from.
I think we did. From us. And it's funny, like we got like the other people who we worked with into it. I think I really do think we did.
They had no choice.
Like you and I, man, we pulled people into our orbit.
Yeah.
Like it was like they had no choice because, like you said, we were watching it. It was like now we're watching Galaxy Quest again.
Yeah.
I kind of remember. It's funny, like I'm saying that, and now I can remember, and I can't remember which movies, but I do remember like certain people saying like, well, like trying to like negotiating like what we're gonna watch next, and I'm like, no, like it's gonna be Galaxy Quest. I'm sorry, but this is no, you have no say in this. This is not a democracy.
What's going on after that? They're like, we're closed after that. So
this is not a democracy.
Yeah, it's Galaxy Quest. We're playing that.
I'm sure
if you're lucky, Jesus Christ Superstar.
I'm sure. I am sure. Like on a weekend in like March or April of 2000, it was like Jesus Christ Superstar for 4 straight hours, and it was like Galaxy Quest to like close out the day.
And it had that levity in there,
People were like, "Can we like open the store at like 8 o'clock so we can come in before like Chris and Mike come in so we can like watch something else that we want to, please?" It's like, no, sorry, we're gonna work like a
It's
12-hour shift. I gotta watch
yeah,
Galaxy Quest tomorrow.
it's going in.
And which I had, that was one of the VHS when I was cleaning out. I had like tubs full of like VHS tapes, and I was like,
You had that. Nice,
Galaxy Quest.
nice.
And then I watched it on Amazon Prime to get ready, but I did have it on DVD. Do not have it on Blu-ray. And now I'm like, you know what? I gotta just buy it on streaming and just have it. Like
That's what I did.
it's got to be like in my top 20 of movies because, like I said, I would watch it again. Like it's not a movie like you said. You get into it and you're like, oh man, this is like it gets into you, and it's like it's what I've been thinking too. I've been walking
Right.
around my wife and kids quoting lines, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I know you're always like that. Yeah, if I do Star Wars lines, at least my son gets what I'm talking about. But
Right.
other than that.
There's stuff in this movie that has stuck with me and become like a part of my overall being, my overall personality.
Yeah.
Like if you ever watch Shooting the Poodoo, and when someone either in the crew or in the chat says something incredibly stupid,
I know what you're gonna say.
I do this. I just go,
Yeah.
and that is literally like when I think about it, I'm like, when did I start doing that, and where did I get that from? I'm like, it's where's the thing at? It's this. It's this.
I noticed that. I noticed that watching it, and I was wondering if that was what it's funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's like, even that's like a deep cut. I'm just like in my head, and sometimes out loud, I will do the, you don't know.
You don't know. Yeah.
Or I will do the, would you relax?
That just, and it was so quick. That line, it was so quick when he was so upset. Like, would you relax?
Dude, that's an underrated thing too. Like that's a part of like chemistry. It's hard to play like people who've known each other for a long time, or like friends who get annoyed with each other.
Right.
Like to be able to play that, and like you buy it with them too. You buy it as them, like as people who have they've gone to like conventions and stuff. As like as like a bunch of actors and stuff who've been together for way too long. Like you buy it as them being like annoyed with each other and just being, and they go back to they pull from the Shatner and Nimoy not liking each other. Or they said that they didn't like each other and stuff. Yeah. Like the whole cast being pissed off at like Shatner. How could you not be with that dude? I'm Team Picard.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Maybe it's because I have no hair, but I'm Team Picard. Us bald people got to stick together.
Well, a couple other things. Sigourney Weaver was so amazing in this movie, and I think she has like there are 3 lines that I remember her saying that are just like they're standouts for me.
Is one of them dubbed over?
Yes. And thanks to that 2019 documentary, we got to see the actual.
That's right.
Drop the actual F-bomb.
Because I think we used to say that. Like we noticed it. We watched it. We were like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. But it was let's see, when she keeps repeating what the computer says, and then Chill is like, he's like, that's getting really annoying, and she's like,
I have one job
on this stupid shit. He'd be like, I have one job on this shit. It's stupid, but I'm gonna do it. Okay. So there's that. There's the F that part. And then there is the what's the other one? It's when they're about to go through the whole like the choppy smash,
the chompers,
and
whatever
she's
they
like,
are.
who designed this? She's like, this. Well, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah,
the
like, people who wrote
this is badly written.
That's it. It's a badly written show.
Whoever wrote this should die.
And she's great. It's another one. I wouldn't say it's my favorite role of hers because I love her as Dana Barrett. I love her as Ripley. But like she's awesome in this role. She's so funny. Yeah. And she's so like, because she can play, because of how she is, she has that like she almost has that like chiseled from stone like beauty to her that she's like kind of like she holds you at like a distance kind
Yeah.
of. But in this, like, she's kind of like so relatable. Maybe it's like the blonde wig. She was talking about like putting that blonde wig on and people would like see her differently and stuff like that. But like maybe
Mhm.
that's it. But like she is really relatable in this movie and she's like super fun. Like she's
Yeah.
super fun in this movie. And
Yeah.
she's another one. Like watching those documentaries, I was glad that they all seemed like they had a good time and they were like into like this movie. Because it's you don't want to see it and they're like, oh, like I hated doing that or like
Right.
I don't really remember anything about that. Everybody who did it seemed like they had an awesome time, and they seemed like they like realized like how much of a cult classic this movie had become, and
Mhm.
how like into it like a certain amount of people are, which is like really cool. Like they
Yeah.
really seemed like they had really good memories about it, and I got to give it to him. I mean, I know we've been cutting him up, but Tim Allen, like we said before, he is perfect for the role. Like he plays it
Absolutely.
really well. He plays it
I would
really
have
well.
loved to have seen what Alec Baldwin would have done with it,
Yeah,
but
it's, like, funny, like, back then, you didn't think of him as much, as a comedic actor 'cause it was before, like, 30 Rock and everything like that, so, like, now I could see it more, like, I could see him maybe doing it. It would be different the way he would do it, but I could see him doing it back then because he was still, like, more in his, like, serious phase. I don't know
mhm.
how it would've been. I can't see, and I like Kevin Kline. I don't know how he would've played it. I can't and I like Steve Martin too, but I could see, like, early '80s Steve Martin doing it. I don't know about, like, late '90s Steve Martin. I could see, like, The Jerk Steve Martin doing it. There's another movie
Yeah.
for another
Oh,
episode.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But, like, I don't know if I could see, like, late '90s Steve Martin doing it.
Nah.
Sergeant
Nah.
Bilko Steve Martin. Ugh, saw that movie in the theaters. Good god.
Eh, but yeah, to me, this cast was perfect. The character dynamics were it's a perfect
I will
I know
say
that yeah,
no, I was gonna say, honestly, we are, like, giving short shrift to, like, other cast members because we could do, like, a half hour on Tony Shalhoub. We could do, like,
yes.
a half hour on Chill Mitchell. We could do,
Yes.
like, a half hour on on the Thermians. Like, we
Yes.
seriously could. They all brought it. Like, they all brought it.
Yeah.
And it like, again, watching this again, I like every it like all and I was like, "Ooh, this part's gonna happen. Now this is gonna happen. Now this is gonna happen." That's how you know, like, that's why I'm saying, like, this is probably in my top 20 of movies because I was, like, anticipating what was gonna happen, and I was like, "I can't wait to see this scene
Yeah.
because this scene is, like, so good."
I was laughing with this like it was the first time I was watching it. I was laughing my ass off throughout this entire
And if
flick.
it's in my top 20, it might be in my top 10 of comedies. Like, I'd have to sit down and make, like, a list of comedies,
Yeah.
but, eh it is damn near a perfect comedy. It's
Yeah.
really good. And with comedies, you can have different types of comedies. So you can have different types of perfect comedies. You can have a comedy like Blazing Saddles, which is perfect for what it is. You
Mm,
can, nah, I know we've talked about that. We need to do an
mm,
episode on that too. That'll have the explicit kids. You're not allowed to watch this episode.
no.
But
No.
Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein do a certain type of comedy that's
History of the
perfect.
World Part 1.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Gregory Hines, man. We got to get
Yeah.
the running scared first.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Ghostbusters does a certain kind of comedy, and even like the stuff we were talking about, like stuff that's, I mean, Superbad's a good movie. I haven't revisited it in a while.
I watched it once.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny,
Yeah.
but it for what like it. This movie knows what it wants to be,
Yeah.
isn't afraid of what it wants to be, and goes out and does what it wants to do, and it does it perfectly.
Executed to perfection. Yep.
And there's nothing wasted. Like it's not that long of a movie. It's really
No.
not. Like
I want to
it
see a
gets
director's cut of this, like, because I know, because like Chill was saying that there was a lot, like they were cussing all through this movie.
yeah.
Not that like it needs curse words or else it's not going to be funny,
No,
or
no,
it
no,
makes
no.
it funnier. But I want to see like some of the
Well, he
more
said that him and Tim Allen were riffing a lot, so
oh
they were pissing
Rickman
Alan
off.
Rickman off. But then at the
Yeah,
end of the day, he'd be like, "Come back to my trailer and have a glass of wine."
yeah,
So yeah, I'd actually like to see like a director's cut with like more of the stuff in
yeah.
there.
Oh, what a classic! What a classic!
And it's a shame, like I said, like we're talking about all this. We could do like 3 hours on this movie
Yeah,
because they're like we could sit there and just go over the whole plot. I think with this podcast, like what we want to do is we want to give like how we experience if it's movies that you and I experience together, like how we experienced it
hmm
together, but like how like we feel about it and just how it affects us. And it is like that. That's one of the good things about this podcast that hopefully like we can get out of it, and also people who are watching along with us, like go and watch this movie because you're in for a treat. Like you're gonna have a good time if you're
Yeah.
looking for. Like nowadays, there's a million options. I sit there and I'm like, what do I want to watch? And I have like 20 million shows I can watch. But then there's stuff that I go back to, and this is going to be something now that I'll always go back to because it's just like so funny. It's I not feel good in a way like, oh my, like Rocky's supposed to be or something like that. But it's like you're gonna watch this and the next day you're gonna be wanting to quote lines from it.
Yeah.
You're seriously gonna be wanting to quote lines from it, and you're gonna want to watch it again. And you're gonna you're gonna go to a friend who if you have a friend who is in the same mindset, and you're gonna be like, you have to watch this movie just to see like what Sam Rockwell's gonna do.
Yes. Yeah. And speaking of Rocky, you see that Creed trailer?
I did see the Creed trailer.
Ooh.
Can I tell you something that you're gonna get mad at me about?
Oh no.
I have never seen the first two Creeds. And now, but let me tell you this: after watching that trailer,
this right now,
I know.
Thanks for coming to the last episode of Nice Guys.
After watching that trailer, I said to my son, because he's never seen any Rockies, but I was like, I showed him the trailer and he said it looked cool, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna watch like the Rockies, and then I was like, even if we just watch the first two Creed movies, like we don't need to. What's up? Nah, we'll probably skip. We'll probably skip 5. Yeah. Oh, when he fights against the Septibus. Dude, I remember I remember that was like 91, right? Was that 90 or 91?
I think so. It was a painfully 90s movie.
Yeah, and I remember that came out like this. I think it was 90. It came out the same year as like Godfather 3. And it was at like around Christmas. And I remember I was in high school, like seeing the previews for like Rocky 5 and Godfather 3, and I was like, ooh, neither of these looks good. Ooh.
Yeah.
Tommy Gunn, man. Yo, Tommy, I didn't hear no bell.
I didn't hear no bell.
We need to have like a depression corner part of this podcast where we just talk about like Tommy Gunn, what happened to him. You got like Tim Allen, what he's become. It's like this is like all the stuff that we used to. Well, I mean, I never liked Tim Allen, but all the stuff we kind of. Yeah.
I like to have a stiff drink of me for that one. Just
But yeah, Rocky 5. No, we'll probably skip over. We'll probably skip over Rocky 5.
Yeah,
I would actually start. I would start with Rocky 4 because, well, I was gonna say for total like cartoon is Rocky 4 because he ends. That's like the alternate universe where he ends communism. And then we just, we're just we're just in world peace. But yes, Rocky 3. Dude, I will admit, Rocky is that rare like series of movies where it just gets better as it gets more cartoony. Because I'll tell you what, Rocky 3, dude, that's a great movie. Oh my God, that's a great movie. And I know you love it, but that's a great movie.
Yeah.
I know you love that movie, but it is a great movie.
There are many reasons why.
I know why.
He got beat up by this big, physically superior black boxer. And he's like, I gotta go to this other physically superior black boxer so I can learn how to fight the other superior. Let me stop. But yes.
No, we should do like a podcast of the whole Rocky series because how it goes from reality, cartoon, but then it builds on it and it keeps it all in continuity and it builds on the cartoonishness, but then wraps it around and makes it serious again.
To Rocky Balboa. Because Rocky Balboa is one of my favorite movies of all time.
There was a brilliance in Stallone's madness.
Yes.
He's not doing it on purpose. Believe me, he's not clever enough to do it on purpose. But somehow he pulls it off. But I will tell you that, like after watching that trailer, I was like, I really gotta watch Creed 1 and 2.
The Creed 1.
I don't mean to disappoint you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No.
I apologize.
No, if as long as you watch them, that's fine.
It's my Catholic guilt. I'm sorry. I feel so bad now.
Creed 1, and I know we're talking about Galaxy Quest here, but
I know, but this is the first
podcast,
man. We're just here to talk. It's me and you talking. And whoever wants to watch, then they watch.
Yeah. The first Creed movie, and we'll get into this when we do the whole Rocky one. But the Creed 1 had the energy on that one. It was everything, just the aesthetic and everything was so different from anything else in the Rocky flicks. And then Sly got his hands really on the second one, and
Yeah.
then it became a Rocky 4 sequel,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of important moments from Adonis's life were seen through Rocky's eyes
Yep.
instead of through Donnie's eyes. This one is directed by Michael B. Jordan,
Yep.
story by Ryan Coogler. I'm expecting to go back to the same kind of feel that the first Creed had. But yeah, like Rocky 3 is probably my favorite Rocky movie. Like, all right, I equate it to like Star Wars. All right, Empire Strikes Back is the best of the OT, right?
Right.
Return of the Jedi is my favorite.
Yep.
Like head and
Which
shoulders
you and
above
I used
anything
to
else.
discuss back in the day.
Rocky 3 is my favorite. Like, it is my absolute favorite Rocky movie. Rocky Balboa is the best.
I gotta watch Rocky Balboa again because I did see that, and it's been a long time. I keep looking. It's funny because like I'll look and they have like the whole series for cheap. That's like an easy series to go through and watch
Yeah,
like quickly because they're not like super. It's not like 4 hour long movies and stuff
right.
like that. I think eventually we're gonna have to do like a whole like Rocky series podcast.
Absolutely.
And just again with love because I mean again and we're both from like this area because like you grow up with like Rocky 2.
Yeah.
Not Rocky 2 the movie, but Rocky.
Rocky as well. Yes. Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean we're a city that has the Rocky statue right next to the art museum. Like that, you know, they
I've never
always
seen
talk.
that. You know, I've never seen that thing in person. I'm not a tourist, so I've
I
not
know.
gone to Pat's. I've not gone to Pat's. I've not gone to Geno's. I
You're not
refuse to
missing
eat
anything.
there.
You're
No,
not
I know
missing
it's terrible.
anything. It's always I
Uh,
grew up in Southwest Philly. It's always the cheesesteak place or the pizza place near your house that was the best. Not
right.
not
Yeah,
Pat's
not
Geno's.
Pat's or Geno's.
But
And I've never gone to to see the Rocky thing, because if I did, I would start doing
would you throw your
Clubber
motorcycle?
Lang's.
Would you throw the motorcycle helmet at it?
No. I would go over there and be like, get in that way you can. Don't get that sucker no statue. Give him guts.
Come on, woman.
Hey, woman. Hey, woman.
I can't do the voice. I'm sorry.
You and your man, they got no heart.
But it's funny,
You
like
need a real
growing.
man.
It's funny because growing up, they all used to like blend into one because I couldn't remember which one it was that Mickey died. Like
Oh yeah.
I hit
Clubber
like
Lang killed him.
I hit like my movie. Like I was aware of like movies by Rocky 4, so I knew Rocky 4. I knew that was a part, but like Rocky 1 to 3, they all like mixed into one for me. I was like, wait, I used
1
to
and
think
2
that.
do that for me.
Yeah, well, they're kind of built that way too because
Right.
the second one starts like right at the end of the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we have to do like the whole series. We have to watch like all the originals because it is how that is Stallone's meathead brilliance. How do you take it from
meathead brilliance?
And how do you take it
right
from
now?
how do you take it from an Oscar-winning movie to a total like cartoon to right, and then he goes right back and he brings it right back to like making it something respectable again. I mean, he's lucky that he's working with Michael B. Jordan, and now you got the third movie. It's Killmonger versus Kang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that looked really good. It looked good. So it made me say like I'm sure I gotta go like on Vudu and see if they have like the first two. Like when the third one comes out and just be like,
yeah, I think they are.
Yeah, I'm sure they're somewhere. I can watch them.
Yeah,
because I've actually heard good things.
Yeah, it's
you also have to realize with kids and stuff. I became that person where, like I said, like I'd go and see movies like 1-2 times a week, and it could be like crappy movies. Now it's like Marvel movie. All right, we're going because I'm taking my son. You know, Marvel, right. DC, Star Wars. But then it's like, the rest I'll just wait until it comes out streaming. So,
by the way, I've seen Black Adam.
I've. Can I just ask if like the post-credit scene is true? You can like nod your head. It's okay. Can you squee if it's true? Yeah, it's true. I'm so jealous. I wanted to go tomorrow night, and my son's got like a haunted house thing for school, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, come on, dude.
Is this a pass-fail thing?
No.
Then get him out of there. Let's go see that movie.
He's going with his friends.
Well, yeah.
I know, but he's like my movie. Like, you know, my wife's not gonna go. She doesn't know who Black Adam is. You're lucky she knows who Batman is, for God's sake. So I think I'm gonna try to go Sunday night with him.
Mm-hmm.
He and I
Nice.
are going to try to go sign. But can I ask you a question?
I love it.
Does the hierarchy of the DC universe change?
There's I don't know about yes,
Dude, I'm excited
yes,
for
in the way that
Doctor Fate.
it's something's been added on to
I'm excited, and
the
that doesn't take
hierarchy.
anything away from uh The Rock because I'm so glad that he is with DC
Yeah,
because I think he will take a hand in actually steering where they're going to go. And I want that because he's going to give the fans what they want. I don't care
right.
what the critics
Like you know what?
say.
And I like that to a degree, like giving the fans what they want because I'm of a mind
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
I like don't listen to the fans. A lot of times I'm like
I know what you mean.
yeah,
But I mean, he will listen and then do what
right.
is right.
There's
But
giving what you want, there's giving what you need.
mhm.
And I hope that DC is going to be giving what you need. And I need me a whole bunch of Kal-El. So
Yeah, I could take a little bit of like a younger Batman too in the
in
DC
the in the
extended universe as
in the
much as
not
I
in the not
yeah,
the Batman.
as much as yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm a Batman guy. I have the shirt on right now. But
Hmm.
Batman's another one where it's like, listen, I I love Christian Bale. I love The Dark Knight, but I also you can give me a Batman who fights gods. You can give me a Batman who has supernatural villains. I don't need to have a Batman that's always rooted in reality. I can have a
Hmm.
Batman that is comic booky. He was a comic book. That's how
Yeah,
he started.
I want
There
to.
can be a little bit of fun in Batman. You can
Yeah,
have a Robin in Batman.
I want a
And now with the
Batman.
multiverse and stuff, you
You
can
can get
have
that
I'll take different Batmans. I'll
right.
take
I
like
need a Batman who has a suit that is just as dope as like um
yes.
as the Batman or Ben
Yes.
Affleck's. And I know Ben Affleck had the gray in there, but I want the gray, I want the blue, I want the yellow. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Let me see that shirt one more time. Boom. Give me that bats. You know.
Exactly. And you know what? Yeah, again, hire us. I mean, Warner, I'll do it for free. I don't care.
I won't. I need to get paid.
Well,
I
I
got
do
bills.
it for free just because
I
I
got
think we
bills.
can I say that now, but we'll renegotiate when we get there and the first
Yeah.
movie's a hit. But yeah, I mean, come on, like as much as like I know their plans for bringing in Keaton, and as much as my 14-year-old self wants to see Michael Keaton again as Batman, I'd rather see a 35-year-old Batman who
Yeah.
can stand toe
Oh.
to toe with all the rest and be in the Justice League.
Like I don't
Um,
think Keaton's gonna be the Batman. He's a Batman, you
well,
know, in a
I don't think
mentorish
DC
position.
has any kind of plan whatsoever. I think they have plans, and
I
those
think
plans change daily.
yeah. Well, I mean, they've got better leadership or different leadership now
And
because I know
again,
Hamad and them are out. So
I know you guys have talked about this, and I even was on a shoot in the poodoo where we talked about DC.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be exactly what Marvel is. It doesn't. DC and Marvel, even
not
in
at
the
all.
comics,
Weird.
are not exactly the same. I just want a DC extended universe where all these people exist together. They don't always have to be in their same movies,
Right.
but I want to watch a movie and not just get excited because, like, in 1995, when Val Kilmer mentioned Metropolis, and I was like, oh, I turned to my brother and was like, oh my God,
Oh my God, they're
they
doing it.
mentioned Metropolis
Oh,
in a Batman movie.
right.
Just let it be known because, like, the general audience or the normies have to always say, like, well, how come if something's happening that Superman doesn't show up? Well, you know what? In the
It's fighting
comics,
Brainiac.
Superman's not always there. He's got his own problems.
Yeah.
Batman's gotta
Huh.
take care of something, Superman's gotta take care of something. If, like, Starro decides to well, that was in Suicide Squad. I can't if another world-threatening adversary shows up, then they're all gonna
Then they're
team
gonna
up and
work.
they're
Yeah.
gonna be the Justice League, but you know
Right.
what? They'd all have to show up, and
Right.
I am not saying this I loved what The Rock said about, this stuff when he was talking about Marvel, and he said, "We don't have to compete or be Marvel. They do what they do, we do what we do, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna build out everything." Now, I will say this, I mean, does the JSA are they given, like, an explanation that why there's a JSA as compared to, like, the Justice League, or it doesn't have to be. Again, I mean, I don't care. I mean, the general audience, again, that like I think they worry. I think even us, a lot of geeks worry about that. Like, oh, nobody's gonna get it. Well, we get it, but you
Yeah.
know
Just
what?
put it out there. Just put it out
People are
there.
gonna go because they like The Rock. they're not
Right.
going to care where the Justice Society comes from. They're not even going to remember, in all honesty. Me, I can see it, and I knew I hugged my son very tightly as he said, "Oh my God, there's Dr. Fate. I can't wait to see Dr. Fate in a movie." And I was like,
That's my
I was like,
boy.
you are truly my son.
You are my son.
Like I'm excited for that. I'm excited. Like I never thought I'd get to see Dr. Fate in a movie, and played by Pierce Brosnan. That's
Right.
That's freaking cool as hell.
Yeah.
So it's like, give it to me. And you know
Yeah.
what? They're not. It's going to be a hit. It's The Rock. The Rock makes hit movies. He knows what he's doing, and I'm glad that he is with Warner Brothers. I'm glad he's with DC, and I'm glad that we can't say it because there's spoilers. But I'm glad that what I think is going to happen, and we'll go from there. I will just say that and again, this is coming from somebody who in 1989, dude, yeah. This is coming from somebody in 1989 who got a Batman movie, and I didn't know if I'd ever get another Batman movie, so I'm not going to complain. But
Right.
like the last Batman movie, yes, it was a good movie. But you know what? I don't want to have to walk out of the movie theater and want to split my wrist after I'm watching a Batman movie. Give me something fun.
Yeah.
Let me see let me see Batman fighting Clayface. Let me see
Yeah.
him fight Man-Bat.
Calendar Man, somebody.
Dude, you know what? You can make something good out of it. Whoever thought that Captain America was going to fight like Batroc the Leaper? But they did it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. The people in the general audience don't even know that was him. But like comic book people know it's him.
Right.
And they did
Or
it.
when all you mean is GSP. That's all.
Yeah,
But
I know. It's
I love that guy. I thought he was fantastic. But yeah.
But to get it back to Galaxy Quest.
Yeah. Great movie. Perfect movie.
Everybody watching this is how it's going to be, man. We're free. It's free flowing, man. We're going to talk about all the stuff that you guys are interested in, plus the movie we're talking about. This is how it's going to be. This is how it was when we worked together.
Yeah.
We might actually help people every once in a while, but most of the time we were just talking about comic books.
That's right. Or Mexico don't smoke breaks, and I'm.
Oh man, I miss those days.
I'm just like trying to hide in the anime section.
Do I get a discount on this?
Ooh. Well, all right, guys. Listen, speaking of the store, it's time to close up. So we want to thank you for watching. This episode of Noice Guys talking about Galaxy Quest, and always remember,
never give up, never surrender.